Israil Madrimov, new hulking size, he bulks up. He's looking huge. Could this be a problem for Terence Bud Crawford when they fight Crawford versus Madrimov, Riyadh season? Ego Weight Watchers here, aka Ill, where I give you a look into the fighter lifestyle before, after, and progress picks, especially when they have an upcoming fight. Get ready for it. Terence Crawford, he just beat Errol Spence last year, and he's looking to move up in weight. He is moving up in weight to 154 pounds. August 3rd, he will be fighting against 10-0 with 7 knockout Israil Madrimov, who is the WBA 154 junior middleweight champion. Now, this picture is all over the internet. It's of Israil Madrimov, and he's looking brolic. He's looking in shape. Rambo. I fight for my country. I do it for me. I fight for you. Bro, he looking all the way Rocky Balboa. Let me tell you something you already know, kid. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a mean and cruel place that'll beat you there you let it. Israel's not gonna hit Crawford with it. I love my job. So Madrimov, he hulked out, bulked out, he looking brolic. And it's so funny. I have got to be the best in the business, and it's not even close. For weeks, I've been making Ego Weight Watchers videos. You guys watched them. Most people understood what I was saying, but there were some naysayers. They were like, oh, Ego, you hating on Crawford and stuff. That's the new thing on the internet. If somebody's not just singing your praises or they're looking at it objectively, then you get mad and say they're biased. When in fact, if you look up what the word bias means and being objective means, it's literally what I'm doing, where you look at both sides of the coin. Instead of just saying, oh, Crawford destroys him and Madrimov has no shot, Bud is the man, and all this type of stuff. I'm looking at it rationally, and I'm looking at it how I want to look at it with my honest opinion. So it's funny that the world of boxing is just now catching up. I've been telling you, Madrimov is a big dude, and it's not, don't spare me the stupid comments about, oh, it's not a bodybuilding contest. He's a good fighter. Now, here's what I've noticed in boxing. There are a lot of fans who, they could watch boxing as much as you, maybe even more than you, but they're casual minded, meaning they don't really know what they're looking at. Like, they love the sport, they know the players in the sport, but if you ask them what this fighter should have done differently, or the mistakes that this fighter made, or, you know, future fight prediction, their prediction streak would be terrible. Again, they love the sport of boxing, they like the sport of boxing, whatever their case is, but they really don't know the intricacies of boxing. And you also see it with the business side of boxing. There's some things in the business side of boxing. I see people on Twitter, X, people on YouTube, and they try to play matchmaker and make up whole cards. And a lot of that is waste of time, because at the end of the day, that's not going to happen. This stupid card that you made up with 5 fights that aren't going to happen, nobody's going to put that together. The business doesn't align, doesn't make sense. So you just waste your time. If you look at Boxing Ego, since I started, I'm Bruce Lee with it. We strip away all the inessentials, and what's left is the essential pieces. And that's how I put together my works of art and my content. I try my best to strip away anything that really doesn't need to be there. The unauthorized or like the non-educated moves, I don't make them, you know? So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. Everything I do is with purpose, I guess you could say. So I don't like to spend a lot of time just politicking on stupid stuff and fantasy fights and things like that. You know, there's a time and a place where maybe I'll talk about some fantasy fights, but I'm not making 20-minute videos about something that there's no conclusion for. I'm an Aries, I'm headstrong, I'm a leader, natural born leader. So don't really care about something that nobody can be right or wrong. You can't prove it. Oh, who would win, Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali? Well, they're in different generations for one, and Muhammad Ali's no longer with us on the planet, you know, so it'll never happen. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about stuff like that. So I find it funny. Terence Crawford, he is a great fighter, very skilled fighter, and he has this aura about him. But I think the aura has caused people to not realistically look at this upcoming fight. Madrimov, in my opinion, and it's just my thoughts, it's not saying that he guarantees a win and all that, but he's a live dog. I truly believe that. And it's not just because he looks buff, because there's a lot of guys that look buff and get slept. I remember Roy Jones fought this dark-skinned black dude, and he looked brolic, and Roy knocked him out and looked to the ref about stopping it, and the ref said no, so he said okay, and then he laced him with some more combinations and forced the stoppage. So it's not, trust me, don't insult me, it's not about looking buff, but size does come into the fray. There's a lot of people, they're gonna say a lot of things, and I'm telling you what I know about this sport. Some people say weight doesn't win fights, size doesn't matter. Oh, but it does, right? And I think, you know, I've heard Floyd say it, and I understand what he's saying in the context that he's saying it, but don't get it twisted. Floyd Mayweather, as good as he is, he can't fight a heavyweight. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about like actively compete. You're too small. The guy, your power wouldn't be enough. You see what I'm saying? So every fighter pretty much has their limit. Like you can look at Bam Rodriguez or Chocolatito. They can't fight Jaron Ennis. Come on, bro. Like they're too little. They're too small. So I feel like the weight doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter. All this stuff gets overstated. It doesn't have to matter, but it can matter, if that makes sense. Meaning a guy being bigger than you could be to his advantage if he's fighting right. Now there has to be other attributes and components to it working out for you. Like you can't just be big and brolic and you got 3 rounds and 4 rounds in you and then you gas out because you're so heavy and you're so muscular. But we've never seen that with Israil Madrimov. We never seen Israil Madrimov fade. And the other thing I've noticed in this boxing game, a lot of people, if they've never heard of you, they don't rate you. So their lack of knowledge on certain people, they chalk it up as this guy sucks. This guy's a cab driver, Uber driver, he a bum. And they look at little simpleton things, right? Low-hanging fruit. Like they'll look at Israil Madrimov and be like, oh, he's 10-0. Crawford got like 40 fights. There's no way. There's no way a 10-0 guy will beat Crawford. But boxing is a lot deeper than that. This is a guy from the amateurs. And I'm not saying this to pledge my allegiance to Madrimov. This is not a fight prediction video at all. I don't know who's gonna win the fight. I gotta watch tape and really decide on who I'm picking. However, there's a lot of people sleeping on Madrimov like this is not going to be a competitive fight, as if he is a walkover, pushover opponent. And I've been telling y'all, now people are starting to see it. But for me, I've been telling you guys the same thing. The whole world of boxing copies the boy Ego. I've been making these videos. I didn't see nobody on X, Twitter, or YouTube that was consistently making videos about Madrimov and some of his attributes. Now all of a sudden people are starting to, right? So comes with the territory. Madrimov is a real live dog, in my opinion, versus Crawford. Crawford, I've watched his whole career, covered several of his fights live. He's been hurt by much smaller people. So I do think Madrimov possesses power and size that could definitely hurt Crawford. Crawford is agile, he's cat-like, great reflexes. He'll likely be faster than, or at least with hand speed, than Madrimov. So it's an excellent fight. Excellent fight. It's unfortunate Madrimov doesn't have a profile like Triple G, because then this would be a colossal fight. But based on, you know, the marketing Madrimov isn't known like that. So it's a great card, but it's a kind of like a sleeper hit fight just based on Madrimov's name didn't carry enough weight other than being a good fighter. He just is not recognizable as much. The other thing is, I'll give Crawford a lot of credit if he stops Madrimov. But all that knockout, he knocked out every welterweight that he faced. I don't know if he's knocking out Cuz. I don't know if he's knocking out Madrimov. In fact, I would probably say I don't think he does. You know, even though I said it's not a fight prediction, I don't know if Crawford knocks this man out. TKO, you know, it's possible, but conventional wisdom, I don't think he's knocking out Madrimov. But, you know, Bud is one of those people where he's an amazing athlete, and when people doubt him, that's when he shows up